Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Dan Scholz. I work over here at Affliction. I'm the artist, and I'm here to tell you about a really cool project that I put together over the last couple years. So I started this project in March of 2020, and if you remember, that's exactly when COVID shutdown happened. And I said to myself, well, if I'm not going to be doing anything, working on artwork for Affliction, I got to have a project. And I always loved building my own guitars. And I said to myself, well, if I'm going to build a guitar, I want to build something really cool. I've been really inspired by a lot of videos I see on YouTube of guys building these crazy carved, beautiful guitars. And I said, well, I got the time now. Let's do it. It started basically, I went to bought some wood. I bought the bodies made out of alder. Now, if you know anything about wood, alder's very easy to carve. It's a soft wood. It's kind of light. And I knew I was going to do a lot of carving on this guitar, a lot of shaping, a lot of stuff I've never done before. And I didn't even have the tools to do it. But I said to myself, you know what? If I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go big on this one. So I did. I bought the wood, and I came up with the design. You can see in the video that when I was in the design process, I had actually several designs, and I figured which one would be the most practical one. I wanted to actually play, because I pictured this thing being up on stage here at Affliction. We have a stage, we have live bands play, and I could see some of my favorite guitar players actually playing this guitar, and I didn't want to be embarrassed by it being a piece of junk that wouldn't play. So I had to have it just perfect. I had to do it nice. So I went out and started designing and cutting away. I learned as I went. I literally learned as I went. And if I didn't have the tools, I made the tools, and ended up just really going farther than I thought I would on this guitar. It was a labor of love, really. It really was. So a lot of the pieces of the guitar is stuff that I've already had. The pickup was made for us by, it was a specialized pickup with a logo on it, that lace sensor. We were doing some stuff with those guys, and they gave us some sets of pickups, and we never used them. And I decided, well, let's try it out. Let's put one in there. So I used the lace sensor pickup. I used the neck. I didn't want to get into building the neck. The neck is a lot of work, and I found a neck that was perfect for it. It was off of a Dean guitar. And it has, if you know Dean guitars, the headstocks have a V shape to them what I did was I took that and I cut that a little bit and made them look like little wings, and then I carved the fingerboard, and I did all kinds of crazy stuff to the neck. Neck was, it worked perfectly. So I, cut the joint out and stuck it on there and just went for it from there. And like I said, all the other innovations that I did with the volume control knob, I made it look like I made it really big. I put it right in the middle, and it's a big piece of wood, it's cherry wood, and I made the pot right there, so it looks like part of the guitar, and then it also turns as the volume, so it's pretty cool too. And then I decorated it with little bits of pieces off of our jeans and our shirts. We have little crosses, little skulls, little things like that, and I would place them all over the guitar as I went, and seeing which ones would look good where. Little skulls here and there, without overdoing it, without making it look too crazy, because the guitar spoke for itself already, because it was already crazy. As far as the process goes, it came, the inspiration came in spurts. When you're doing a long-term project, and you're also got other things going on, you work on it for a few weeks, you get all inspired, you work on it for a few weeks, then you put it down for a month or two, you come back to it. It's a back and forth process. Sometimes I didn't have the right tools, or I couldn't have access to the machines that I needed to do it. So the process was pretty neat, actually. It got as it went, it got more and more involved. I said, well, if I'm going to do wings, I got to do the feathers. If I'm going to do feathers, I got to do them really nice. I got to do small, tight little feathers. And if I'm going to do feathers on the outside of it, I got to cut the thing so that it has the feathers on the outside, and everything just kept snowballing pretty much, and turned into a creature of its own. My own monster, basically, I was making at the time. And it took me about, like I said, about a year and a half, 2 years before it was actually finished. The design part, I love the design part. I can design super fast, and I know what I like. And I mean, I've been doing Affliction for so long that I knew what everybody here would like. So I just went ahead and did it. Nobody was even involved except me. They didn't even really know I was doing it until I showed them one day when it was half done. And they said, what is that for? And I said, it was just for fun. You know, they said, why'd you do Affliction? We could have done anything. I said, well, why not do Affliction? I mean, it's been a 12 years of my life doing this, and I love doing it. Every day is just fun. It really is fun for me to design every day. And the subject matter was Affliction anyway. I love doing the skulls and the wings and the crosses and the sort of that type of thing, the darker type artwork. So when you get into the creative section of doing little feathers and doing the eyeballs on the skull and the cracks and stuff, you're being super creative, and that you know, the hours just fly by when you're doing really fun creative things, especially working with wood. And if it's coming out the way you want it or better than what you thought it was going to be, it is like amazingly, like, just beautiful. It works out so good, and you get more inspired, and you keep going, and you bevel the edges, and then when the bevels look good, you bevel more stuff, and then you put this on there, put that on there. There's a piece of artwork on the back of it too, an older one that I did, and I transferred that. I used a really cool method to transfer that artwork onto there using Mod Podge, which is like a glue that you use for crafting. And you put the Mod Podge down, you take your printed piece, you put it on the back, and you just leave it sit and dry. You just push it down, and what it does is it kind of sucks the ink out of the paper onto the wood. And when you pull, then you have to pull the paper, and that's a process too. That's a whole nother animal where you have to scrape the wood, scrape the paper off, and use water. And what you end up with is a perfectly transferred piece of artwork onto the wood, and it looks pretty good. So I just saw that. That was a last-minute decision because I looked at the back and I looked at the front. And I said, well, the back needs something. The front is so wild, colorful, cool, and the back was kind of plain. So I said, well, I'll put a piece of artwork on there, you know. When I got done with the guitar, I said, you know what am I going to put this thing into? That thing's huge. A gig bag wouldn't work. And I said, man, there's got to be someone out there that makes a case. So I literally went over to Guitar Center, and I was looking at everything, and there was a young kid there. And I said, God, I got this guitar, and I showed him pictures. And the kid he just thought it was the coolest thing he's ever seen. And he said, wait a second. He goes, I got something in mind. He goes, we got these coffin cases. They're huge. They got like 2 of them in the back. And so the kid ran back there, grabbed it, and he pulls it out. And I took the guitar and I set it in there, and it fit like a glove. I could not believe that this coffin case was the perfect case. And it's a coffin. It's perfect for the guitar. And I was like, I'll take it. That's perfect. I got lucky. I mean, the stars aligned, and everything worked out perfect, you know. Out of everything I've made, as far as the guitars, this is the most complicated. This is the best guitar I've ever made, for sure. It plays great. It looks great. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with this guitar too. Because of COVID, we haven't been able to have any concerts here. I would love to have some of these guys, some of the bands that we have come play here, pick it up and play a song with it. It'd be really cool to see what they think of it. It ranks pretty high up there on some of the stuff that I've done. As far as woodworking and stuff and pieces of artwork, it's pretty high up there. It's one of my more complicated ones that I've ever done. First of all, I'd like to thank, I used a Dean neck on this guitar, and because I had an extra neck, and it worked out perfectly. And so I'd like to thank them for using their neck on the guitar. It worked out perfectly. Thank you very much. And I'd also like to thank my buddy Tom. He's a luthier. He's a really good friend of mine. He helped me with all the final put together, the final setup, and getting the thing basically wired up and going. And I couldn't have done it without him. I learned a lot of my skills as a guitar builder in Chicago when I was growing up through a luthier that I worked for. And then many moons ago, 1989, I started working with Tom Reeser, TR Guitars. and he helped me quite a bit learn a lot more about building guitars and necks and bodies and shaping and things like that, woodwork, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without his help. So thank you, Tom. Okay, if you want to see some other artwork then and things that I've done, you can check me out at Instagram. It's Devious Art by Dan Scholz, and check it out. I post a couple times a week some of the cool stuff I'm doing here at Affliction, and I think you'll enjoy it. All right, everybody, well, that's about it for the guitar. I really appreciate everything, and I'd like to see your comments, see what you guys think. Check it out. Thank you.